1,000 Peonies, a love story in bloom. In a world where grand gestures of love often feel like they belong solely in the pages of romance novels or the reels of Hollywood films, Kristin and Eric Swenson's story stands as a radiant exception. Eric's vow to plant 1,000 peonies, Kristin's favorite flower, if she agreed to marry him, blossomed into a garden of over 15,000 blooms and a testament to enduring love. The couple celebrated their 5th wedding anniversary amidst this vibrant sea of peonies, capturing the hearts of millions who have since learned about their journey. Kristin Swenson candidly admits that her initial encounter with Eric was far from a fairy tale. It was not love at first sight, she tells People. Both in their 30s and bearing the scars of past relationships, Kristin and Eric were independent individuals who had little hope of finding their perfect partner. Despite their reservations, they took a chance on each other and spent a year getting to know one another. I really learned that Eric was completely outside of the scope of my imagination when it came to kindness and respect and his actions, Kristin says. During that time, we did a lot of the work on ourselves as individuals, and eventually, we allowed ourselves to have that big love. When Eric proposed, he made a promise that encapsulated his dedication and love. He committed his kindness because that's the most important act that we try to demonstrate to each other. And one of the things he included was making this visual gesture to show his kindness and consistency to me every day for the rest of our lives, Kristin explains. Peonies were how he's going to do it because he knew how much I love them. Eric proposed not once, but twice. The second proposal, which took place at the location where they first met, was particularly memorable. As he got down on one knee, Eric articulated why he wanted to be Kristin's partner for life. His vow to plant 1,000 peonies was not just a promise, it was a grand gesture of love and commitment that has since made many swoon. Eric, who had learned some gardening from his grandparents, embarked on this ambitious project despite not having a garden space of their own at the time. He started them in a community garden downtown, and they were there for the first year and a half, Kristin recounts. Eventually, they purchased a home with enough space to transplant the peonies. It's just us and our kids who help, so we weren't able to build it all in 1 year, Kristin says. Eric began by planting a couple of hundred bulbs annually, doing most of the heavy lifting himself. I'm often in the garden and love it, but he's the one who takes the project and the implementation of it, Kristin adds. As the couple celebrated their 5th anniversary, they reflected on their journey and the garden that had become a symbol of their love. Kristin captured Eric's thoughts on video, which quickly went viral. When people are dating or when they are engaged, they'll tell the whole world how much they love their partner. But as soon as we get married, we stop saying it out loud. And I think this grand gesture is my way of telling the whole world, every spring, how much I love my wife, Eric explained in the video. Kristin was moved by Eric's unexpected yet heartfelt response. I try to document the peonies every couple of days to watch their progress, she says. I just felt how proud he was looking at it. I just happened to hit record and asked him this question that I always wanted to know, about why this garden is so important. I was blown away with what he said. The video, viewed by millions, resonated deeply with people who shared their own stories and connections to peonies in the comments. We didn't expect it to reach so many people, but what a gift that it did, Kristin says. Beyond their own joy, Kristin and Eric have found ways to share the beauty of their garden with their community. They have made surprise deliveries of bouquets, donated flowers to the Salvation Army food pantry, and brought cheer to a local nursing home. They just bring people happiness and represent love, Kristin says. A particularly touching moment came when a woman moving out of state offered her peonies to the Swensons, knowing they would be cherished in their garden. We created this special spot for them that we call Abby's Corner, Kristin says. It looks really cool, and it represents Abby's story, but in a way, it's also this representation of all the stories that people shared with us. As they look to the future, Kristin and Eric are excited about the potential of their garden. As this garden continues to grow, we know that eventually, we are going to need help, just to harvest. We are hoping to be able to put operations in place so that we can do more donations and find ways for people to experience the garden, Kristin says. Kristin also emphasizes the importance of reciprocating Eric's grand gesture in ways that align with his love languages. Eric and I each have our own love languages, she explains. Mine are acts of service and gifts, and I think the garden is such a beautiful representation of how he shows me that. His love language is quality time and words of affirmation, so every day I look for ways to provide him words of affirmation based on all these wonderful things he does for our family and community. In a world where love can often feel fleeting, Kristin and Eric Swenson's story is a beautiful reminder that true love requires effort, dedication, and grand gestures, both big and small. Their garden, a blooming testament to their commitment, continues to inspire and connect people, proving that love, much like peonies, can flourish and spread joy when nurtured with care and kindness.